The first cannabis lounge in Nevada will open as soon as this fall. Today, a license was given to the first independent consumption lounge in the state by the Cannabis Compliance Board, and it will be located here in Clark County. Kim Passoff joins us live now to break it down. Kim?
Yeah, so you might remember last fall, the Cannabis Compliance Board gave out 40 prospective licenses for cannabis consumption lounges. Last month, 3 dispensaries, including here at Planet 13, just off the strip, got a conditional license to open. And today, an independent group who plans to build a restaurant with the cannabis consumption lounge attached got theirs.
This board is definitely moving in the right direction with decriminalizing it and with legalizing its use and now providing a safe place for people to consume. I think 20 years from now, maybe 30 years from now, we're going to reflect back on this as one of the wisest decisions made.
The Lounge LLC, a group of attorneys, a doctor, and a commercial developer, got the first independent cannabis consumption lounge license in the state.
You had mentioned that you were with your children at Circus and you smelled some marijuana, right? That was one of the biggest things for us is contain this to a certain area.
It is the first independent location approved where people can publicly use cannabis. The lounge is not connected or affiliated with a current cannabis business like a dispensary. 2 dispensaries in Clark County and 1 in Washoe County were the first to receive approval on their conditional licenses last month, including Planet 13.
Customers ask us about it every single day, and we know that this is what they're looking for.
Planet 13's cannabis consumption lounge is already in the construction phase.
For us, building out the rule book live kind of as one of the first, this is something that, we've never done before. We still definitely have to finish the build of the facility and have that inspected and go through those processes.
While the owners of the 4 future consumption lounges, now with conditional licenses, are eager to open, they still have to get approval from the local city or county where they are located, in addition to an inspection before opening their doors. And the owners of Law Lounge say that they don't have their exact location picked out just yet, but today brought them one step closer. Fox 5 will, of course, keep you updated as the first cannabis consumption lounges in the state start to open. Reporting live tonight, Kim Passoff, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
Want to see the full list of the 40 applicants awarded cannabis consumption lounge prospective licenses and where those lounges will be located? Just head to our website, fox5vegas.com.